everybody, welcome. This is Scott bringing you a Nerd Cyclopedia Transcontinental Podcast production. This is gonna be Sam, and Scott are watching Watchmen. I'm Scott, and this is Sam. Hey, Sam.
What's up?
Hey, everybody. This is a quick intro episode to let you know what this is gonna be, what we're gonna do. We are a podcast team. We've been doing a podcast for a couple years called Nerd Cyclopedia. It covers nerd culture A to Z. Check that out. Mash subscribe. Also subscribe to this podcast. This feed's going to be a little bit different, though. It's going to be less general interest, a little bit more specific, a little bit more alerts coming in, too. So we are a podcast team, like I said. Sam, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why is this an important piece of literature to you?
Watchmen defined comic book culture back in the mid-'80s. It really changed how comic books were actually looked at in just American comics, period. You know, each period, of comic books had its really defining period. Watchmen was essential for making comic books more mature. It really took it from that level of, okay, you got the basic superheroes and good and bad, and it really put complication and complexity, I should say, towards like the whole superhero genre. It took characters unknown and made them into just a bit of a pop culture icon, iconography or something like that. Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons really took it a step up as far as making sure adults could really participate in what would consider like a children or a teen genre medium. Absolutely.
The Watchmen is on the top 100 English language novels since 1900 according to Time magazine, which is something not a lot of people know.
Wow.
Just kidding. It's something famous about it. It's going to be a lot more fun to read than Ulysses, I'll tell you that. You ever read that book? If you say yes, you're a liar. I'm pretty sure you're a liar. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to be bringing you a recap and an introduction for the entire Watchmen universe.
Yes.
The HBO show is going to be, we've looked it up. I found out today that Timothy Irons is going to play Ozymandias, old man Ozymandias.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Okay.
The other thing is, it's going to be a sequel to the graphic novel.
Okay, so it's going to be a sequel to the graphic novel. So
yeah.
Wow, so it's not going to be its actual sequel to the movie, just to be clear.
That's right. So the movie and the graphic novel have different endings in a couple subtle ways that are important. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break down the graphic novel for you over a couple episodes, talk about plot, talk about characters, help you fill in the cracks so, you can move forward with confidence. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. We want to make sure that you understand and get a good grasp of what Watchmen actually is, from beginning, middle to end. The little everything that really went into it as far as what Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, thinking was, and really just how great the characters and how in-depth and how personal, they made these characters within the actual structure of a 12-issue, which would really started out as a 12-issue miniseries and turned into a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm. It's excellent. We're going to go through that novel. We're going to talk Doomsday Clock,
yes,
which is a little bit of a sequel series that's going to tie in a little bit maybe to the show, and then I think we're gonna talk about the movie a little bit too, right? So,
yeah, we're gonna touch on the movie, and like as Scott said, Doomsday Clock. Doomsday Clock is a sequel. when Scott was talking about the TV show is gonna be a sequel to the Watchmen series. Watchmen graphic novel. Doomsday Clock is a sequel to the graphic novel, but it inputs superheroes, actually, like mainstream superheroes like Batman, Superman, and everything, which is not going to be in any. It's not going to be in any indication of what is going to be in the Watchmen TV HBO series. So you're not going to see any Batman, Superman, or anything like that in that. So Doomsday Clock is an extreme sequel, basically a different sequel to what HBO is trying to do.
Exactly. So we're going to go through all that, and then of course, once the HBO show is airing sometime in 2019, we're going to be your one-stop shop. We're going to be doing recaps. We're going to be talking about an analysis, and we're already going to have a library of content for you to review. If you need to check and see what happened in issue 2, boom, you got it.
Yep.
So that's what we're hoping to bring to you.
We definitely got that covered. Scott, let me ask you, what made you want to do this?
Well, Watchmen is, as you said, it's a type of work of art that sets the tone for a genre for a generation and a half. The thing about Watchmen that I like so much is it takes, as you said, the archetypes of children's literature in the 30s and 40s and extrapolates like what happens when these people turn 40, and what happens. I mean, they're gonna age up, right? So for the first time, I think Watchmen brings serious like a relationship, like adult style relationship action into comic books. When you talk about the complexity of the relationship between, for instance, Sally Jupiter and Laurie Jupiter, right? Just something like that is so interesting. And the other thing about it is it's this rich, lived-in, deep world where you can look at the alternate history of this world and you can understand why Nixon is still president in 1985, right? Like why? It's just crazy.
Right.
Like Nixon got away with Watergate because of the difference, right?
Right.
It's a little bit of a spoiler, but the book came out in '86, so you'll forgive me on that one.
It's not the 100% perfect, but it comes close as a perfect graphic novel / comic book that I've ever seen. It tells a complete story from beginning, middle to end. It's really at the heart of it is really a mystery. It starts out with Rorschach, discovering that the comedian is dead. And throughout the whole story, he's basically just trying to find out who killed him. That's it.
Who killed a comedian?
Who killed the comedian? That's it.
It's a big joke.
Who watches The Watchmen?
Well, we are going to be. That'd be me. Well, not me first. I watch The Watchmen.
I watch The Watchmen first.
Sam watches The Watchmen first. Then later on, at a different time, I also watch The Watchmen.
And we definitely appreciate you guys listening to the Nerd Cyclopedia. We appreciate you coming on to this podcast and checking this out. We look forward to all the different Watchmen material that will be coming out in about the next few years. And hopefully, by the time we get to the TV show, it's something that will just blow everyone's minds because, like Scott said, this is Watchmen is very, very, very true to our hearts and everything. It's very, very close to our hearts, and we just want it to be good.
I think the thing I can say about Watchmen is if you have listened to our podcast before, you know that I am a stickler for plot reasonability, and I like something. The more you look into it, the more sense it makes. Yep. And that's what Watchmen is. The more you dig into it, there's tiny little Easter eggs, little Hooded Justice cameos that we're gonna talk about, which is we're real excited.
I would say that it was one of the first comics to really put the Easter egg to really good use. I mean, you really have to not watch it or read it once. You have to read it like many times over to catch everything because you're not going to catch it the first time. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I've read it many times. So has Scott.
Oh yeah, a bunch. And what's really cool is that I'm starting to pick up on different things now as an older person than I did when I was not an older person, with a bunch of gray hair in my beard, and the specter of my own demise is staring me right in the face, and just you start aging, and then all of a sudden you start going gray, and your hair falls out, and
that happens.
And then the next thing you know, you're not running around New York beating up criminals. So that's a change.
All right, so you guys catch us. This is a preview of what we're going to do, and we'll be coming about with new episodes in the next few weeks. Please subscribe, and please, if you like what you hear, check us out on nerdcyclopedia.com, and we will also come to you with a email. For right now, you could go to Nerd Cyclopedia Podcast and just directly email us there, and just follow us on Nerd Cyclopedia on the all the social media forums at Nerd Cyclopedia.
And then you can get your updates about this podcast and other podcasts that we do, which are exciting, like Nerd Cyclopedia, the flagship podcast of Nerd Cyclopedia Transcontinental Podcast.
And also our great Nerdendums, where we talk about recent updated stuff. We just did one on Stan Lee, so definitely check that out.
R.I.P. Stan.
Yep. Rest in peace. But anything else, Scott?
That's all I got today. We look forward to seeing you, and we hope you stop by. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, sure will. All right. See you when we see you.